Yes, we are coming close to the end of the session. I know that we still have a lot of questions. Yes, some of the questions our panelists will be directly answering on the chat as well. Some will be taken here for further discussions. Okay, so we know that Maldives Founder Institute's accelerator program we have opened for Maldives. Registrations are open. If you have just a simple idea, even if you have a prototype or if you are just starting it out, you can actually participate in the startup accelerator. And we are very fortunate to have these 3 mentors together with us joining in the accelerator program. I know that they can give tons of experiences and guidance for you all who are joining. Yes, I'll take a short question from the chat. This one I would like to put to Nattu. Is it important to monetize products and services from the start? Ifham's question is more related to an open source project, I believe, and also have asked like how to manage the growth spurt when you start expanding or when you start growing the idea.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, Ifham, really good question as well, a way to think about it. Put all of this in a structure or framework like Lean Startup to build that on top of it. What I mean by that is it's harder for me to come and let's say that it's going to be easy to scale, it's going to be harder to scale, and really to go manage that growth. You wouldn't know unless you actually started. There's a lot of advice around how to build a let's say open source project and how do you monetize the services around it. That's pretty much what we are doing as well. But along with that, it doesn't mean the whole product market fit does not come in. It does come in. You still gotta like work on that part, validate it, get your initial customers, and then see how feasible that is, so that you don't like go full on investing with the idea, but you actually validate it. Test it initially and then see how feasible that can be, right? So I can't directly answer to that, but keep exploring, keep validating. That's kind of my advice. And for the remote question I saw on the chat as well, right now, like I mentioned, 170 people all remote. We don't have any offices anywhere. The way that we actually do this is, regardless of just the tech, we have this word trust. So a trust is any team member that comes in, we have like high trust in people. That also means that we trust that everybody over communicates, proactively communicates, rather than us asking them for updates or anything. They proactively communicates. We trust that people manages their time well, rather than us managing the time for them. For example, giving us like a start time, or are you in, check out. We give that trust to people. We trust that they also take ownership in everything that they do. We also trust that they have work-life balance at least, so that they can actually be better and happier at this place. We also trust that they take care of their health as well. So there's a lot of trust around any team that we actually have that makes it so easy for us. While we build the entire company, the tech does not have managers. We just got like product owners. The entire tech, I'm talking about like 60, 70 people working on multiple projects at the same time, does not have any managers to go and check on them. They proactively communicate with each other. Time zones, we are across the world. So you work, you find what works with everybody else in the team, and then also be mindful about, for example, when sending a message, should I send a message right now? Or if I use something like Slack, which has send the message tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for that person, so that when they actually start the day, that they actually have it, right? So the way to use, for example, communication, I just want to highlight this because this is a very interesting thing. When I receive a message on Slack, I actually read that message from the mood and the tone that I actually have it. That means if I'm having a bad day, any message that I'm reading will be bad. So how can you be very conscious about this? Also, how can you soften your language in a way, or add emojis or reactions to that in a way that this is better communicated? Because us moving from a physical world to a completely virtual environment, these are things that we're not mindful that can also create frictions within the team. And if you're not sure about something, don't think and assume, just ask. So
Yeah,
these are
thank
just
you,
a few
Nattu.
points for that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I think since we are coming to a close of the session, but I really want to know, like, if you can suggest top 3 resources for startup founders to look into when moving to global markets, what would be those 3 resources? Hi. Yeah, do you hear us?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were asking me, sorry.
Yeah.
So I will actually paste right within here as well, and I will go through that very, very quickly. So 3 things. One is Y Combinator has a huge library of courses that you can actually go and view. This goes from product validation, how to get your first customers, to investors, and then all of that. Y Combinator is again accelerator as well. And then also there's amazing podcasts that I keep listening to. One is called Starting Greatness. And then the other one is How I Built with Guy Raz. Like, this is about talking about how other companies have actually built from the start to the end as well. Starting Greatness, and these two are one of my favorite ones. And within the book side, the Lean Startup book, and I know even in Maldives that you have sometimes access to Lean Startup workshops as well, but the Lean Startup or any of these frameworks helps you think in a way to bring your idea and then to build it and go back. So these are kind of my resources. Hope that is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. How about you, Shafiu? What would you share with the startup founders?
I think the most important, I'll make it really quick as well. One of the most important thing going globally is that you can't have a company in Maldives and just straight up and enter into the global market. You need, like, we are still, as Eedham said, really far behind the tech stack of banking solutions and other services in Maldives. So it's really important to register somewhere. And in our case, yeah, I talked to Nattu and some of the other founders who had some companies. And at that time, Stripe didn't have Maldives, and First Base was somewhere we could register a company, and Mercury Bank actually provided us some really easy banking solutions as well. I think it's 2 things that you could look into it if you're going to solve your banking solutions being in Maldives.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Shafiu. Yes, we are going to Eedham last. Eedham, your top 3 resources that you would like startup founders to follow through.
Yeah, I would say just do a lot of research and get as much data as possible on whatever that you're trying to do. Very important, and calculate that to the T. And go register Delaware C Corp. I think that helps if you are in technology. Legally, they are set up and in a way where they are very investment friendly. And if you're there are many benefits that you eventually get, and eventually transition into that would be difficult, would be challenging. So from the get-go, you can start a Delaware C Corp depending on what you're doing. And you can go for Mercury Bank or Silicon Valley Bank. And if you want short-term funding, you can look at revenue-based finance options, such as GenFi or ClearCo. These are things at the really startup stage, which you can get a lot of benefit from. And then finally, get a very good lawyer. You can always get a free call with any lawyer, and spend money on it. It will to understand IRS requirements, tax requirements, and all of these things, and make sure that you follow through on that. So I would say go register abroad right now, and expect sometimes maybe 3 weeks delay getting your own money into the country. So a very good psychology and mentality is above and beyond every single resource. So be here, be patient, be very psychologically vigilant, and yeah, go into the international arena, And I just want to end by saying that, I very seriously believe, I seriously believe that there will be way more value created in the ICT industry than all other industries combined in this country if people actually take action. So calculate and then go out and get your ideas executed and make your dreams come true.
Yeah, thank you, Eedham. Nattu and Shafiu, do you have any last final words to say?
I think again on the mentality side, if you're in Maldives at the moment, you need to be prepared to lose a lot of money during transactions, and you need to get into that mindset. In the case of us, like we work with studio level clients and just people making their own games, so we collect payments from all sort of sources, and we suffer huge losses on transaction fees on the banking side here and both globally as well. And I think people need to be aware of that. When you're going to go globally, you need to be prepared to take a hit on what you're earning.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shafiu. And Nattu, do you like to add anything quickly?
Yeah, just last words is that this is going to be an epic journey, and like when I reflect and look back, I've started reading tons of books. This is better than going to school. They say if you actually want to learn something and start a startup, you're going to have to learn things that you don't even want to learn, like taxation and all of these numbers. Taxation doesn't mean you have to be an expert, but you have to know about everything, right? It doesn't mean you have to like it. You just have to do it, right? So
and you have to pay tax, right? It's okay to pay tax also, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So that is very, very important. Keep that to heart. You're going to learn it through any way that is possible. Startups or founders or in their entrepreneurial journey, you don't give up. You actually either learn, you pivot, you come with the whole learn it all attitude, and you're going to crush it, because you're going to be learning everything that you don't know, and that you're going to learn that you don't know so much about the entire thing. So be excited for this journey, ask for help, ask for mentorship and any kind of support that you can get. It can be even the word of encouragement goes a long way, because you're going to do amazing things in this journey. So treat that as that. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to learn from it, and you're going to build something that you're proud of, right?
Yeah, totally. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you Nattu, Eedham and Shafiu for joining us as speakers. It was wonderful. Everyone have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.